Welcome back to Celebrial. Buckle up, because this one is wild. Rihanna just lit the internet on fire after calling the new Netflix Diddy documentary fake news and hinting that the real story was deliberately left out. According to what she implied online, Beyoncé's connection to Diddy's world may run way deeper than anyone wants to admit. Not just proximity, participation. This all dropped days after the Diddy doc exploded with millions of views, and Rihanna didn't just criticize it. She suggested there were powerful names being protected, including Jay-Z and Beyoncé, and claimed Beyoncé wasn't just a bystander in Diddy's infamous private gatherings.
Calling me now. And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this.
But allegedly helped organize them. This isn't random gossip or a tabloid rumor. This is Rihanna, calculated, strategic, and very aware of how the internet moves. Sources say her comments were intentional, timed to spark maximum fallout, especially with the documentary already putting pressure on some of the most protected figures in music.
Beyoncé for sure. I love her. I love Beyoncé. Jay-Z too, I really admire the both.
And if even part of what Rihanna is hinting at is true, it could completely change how people see hip-hop's most powerful empire. Rihanna's move completely flips the narrative. She's not just dismissing the documentary, she's redirecting the heat straight at Beyoncé, a figure treated like untouchable royalty. If even part of what Rihanna is hinting at is true, this goes way beyond jealousy or old rumors.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé.
It suggests a level of collaboration that could shake two of music's most powerful dynasties. Here's why that matters. The Netflix series already exposed disturbing allegations tied to Sean Combs, but according to Rihanna, it carefully avoided naming certain connections, especially those involving Jay-Z and Beyoncé. And Rihanna isn't a random voice. She's someone long rumored to have had a complicated past with Jay-Z, with whispers of tension between her and Beyoncé stretching back years.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
Now those old rumors feel different. If Beyoncé was involved in Diddy's private world the way Rihanna implies, the fallout wouldn't just be personal. It would rewrite how power, protection, and silence really work at the top of the music industry. The implications go straight to Jay-Z himself, his legacy, his business empire, and the carefully curated image of hip-hop's most powerful couple.
So that's just competitive.
Competitiveness. All right, so you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really rock with him
okay,
like that.
damn, all right. I didn't know what that meant. Then. All right, okay.
Rihanna's timing is especially explosive because Jay-Z is already under scrutiny after a recent civil lawsuit accused him and Sean Combs of involvement in a disturbing incident tied to a 2000 MTV VMA after-party. Jay-Z's team called the claims baseless, but Rihanna's comments add new pressure. If Beyoncé was connected to Diddy's inner circle, how many others knew or stayed silent? And then there's the long-rumored Rihanna-Beyoncé tension.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
From the 2016 Grammys anti-snub to awkward public run-ins and carefully managed photo ops, insiders have whispered about a Cold War for years. Now, with Rihanna pointing toward darker ties, that rivalry looks less like competition and more like unresolved history, raising the question of whether this feud is rooted in something far deeper than music or awards.
Jay?
Yeah.
At this point? Nah, I would want, why?
Could it be that Rihanna, long rumored to have her own complicated history with Jay-Z, knows more than she's saying? The timing is impossible to ignore. The Netflix documentary landed just months after Sean Combs' conviction, and with 50 Cent behind it, neutrality was never on the table. Diddy's camp fired back, calling it a hit piece, while his mother denied allegations about his upbringing. Still, the series gained traction as jurors from the trial spoke publicly, admitting doubts around the human trafficking counts and describing Diddy and Cassie Ventura's relationship as very complicated.
I was with the girl, and he was asking about her, and then he was asking me stuff like, would you be interested in somebody watching? He was just asking some really, really bugged out questions. And I still have those emails. I still have all that, So that's one of the things that I was going to include in the book. I'm just trying to figure out.
Now Rihanna's comments shift the focus again. If Beyoncé truly had proximity to this world, the question isn't just what happened. It's what was known, when it was known, and why no one spoke up. The documentary already painted a picture of alleged control and coercion through testimony from former partners and assistants. Rihanna's hints don't close the case. They reopen it, widening the circle and raising stakes for everyone tied to Diddy's inner orbit.
How much do I love this artist right here?
Love Beyonce. Down.
What? Everything about her. I've been to every concert. I bought every album. I've been to every concert multiple times. Every special she's done, I've watched it. Every interview, every performance. Love. I was there at Beychella. I love B.
If Beyoncé was indeed present at or connected to these gatherings, as Rihanna is strongly hinting, it forces an uncomfortable question that fans and critics alike are struggling to process. Was Beyoncé a victim of the same power structures, a willing participant navigating survival at the highest level, or something far more complicated in between? And if that line is blurred, what does it say about the men who stood closest to her, especially Jay-Z, a man whose empire has been built not just on music, but on silence, loyalty, and control?
So I know that Jay-Z is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch Beyonce with other men. Ray J, from what I heard, even before all this happened, was one of the guys that used to smash Beyonce.
Because at this point, this story isn't really about Sean Combs alone anymore. Diddy's conviction cracked the door open, but what's spilling out now looks like an entire ecosystem of power players who allegedly looked the other way for decades. Executives, artists, fixers, all operating inside an industry where silence was rewarded and speaking out came with consequences. Diddy didn't rise in a vacuum, and neither did Jay-Z.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to
Their careers overlapped with the same circles, the same after-hours rooms, the same unspoken rules. And the financial stakes make this even more volatile. Diddy's downfall hasn't just been reputational, it's been economic. His empire, once valued in the billions, is in freefall. Dozens upon dozens of civil lawsuits are still pending, and every new revelation tightens the noose around anyone remotely tied to his inner circle. At the same time, Jay-Z's business history is being re-examined under a harsher light.
And I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
Past dealings, old alliances, and long-rumored relationships with controversial figures like R. Kelly are being pulled back into public conversation. If Rihanna's implications gain real traction, not just online chatter, but legal or journalistic momentum, the domino effect could be catastrophic. Because once Diddy is no longer the shield, the question becomes, who was protected by his presence? And who might now be exposed without it?
And we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
The infamous 2000 lawsuit isn't the only shadow hanging over Jay-Z's legacy. And with Diddy already behind bars, attention is inevitably shifting to who else could be dragged into the collapse. And then there are the fans, the accelerant in all of this. Social media has turned into a full-blown wildfire. Some believe Rihanna's comments are a calculated strike, a long simmering response to years of tension and perceived favoritism. Others are convinced this is the first crack in a much larger industry cover-up that's finally starting to fracture. Old documentaries, forgotten blog posts, and obscure interviews are being resurfaced, including references to a 2011 investigation that linked Diddy's legal troubles to the suspicious death of a model who allegedly had ties to Jay-Z. Whether these theories hold up or collapse under scrutiny remains to be seen. But one thing is undeniable. The narrative around Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and the power they represent is shifting. And once fans start asking these questions, history shows they don't stop until someone answers them. Others are resurfacing old interviews with Jonathan Hay, the publicist who once admitted he fabricated rumors about Rihanna and Jay-Z back in 2005 as a PR stunt. But what's raising eyebrows now is Hay also claiming federal agents questioned him about Jay-Z and underage-related rumors, suggesting those whispers may have gone further than anyone publicly acknowledged. And now, with Rihanna's recent comments, fans feel those old fragments are snapping into place. Less coincidence, more pattern. What's most telling, though, is the silence. Beyoncé hasn't responded. Jay-Z's camp is quiet. Sean Combs' legal team is buried in damage control. Rihanna, meanwhile, isn't clarifying a thing, letting speculation do the work. And in an industry built on image, silence can be louder than denial. So now we're left with the real questions. If Rihanna's hints are true, what else is still buried inside Diddy's empire? And if Beyoncé was connected to that world, what does it say about the men who enabled it? Men who built legacies on Black excellence, while allegedly ignoring the darkness underneath. The Netflix documentary was supposed to close the book on Diddy. Instead, it may have only opened the next chapter. And if hip-hop history tells us anything, the truth usually comes out last. Now, let's peel this back. If Beyoncé was more than a bystander at Sean Combs' gatherings, as Rihanna hints, it could explain Jay-Z's silence. Insiders frame it as a possible conspiracy of quiet, powerful names protecting each other while scandals stayed buried. If true, this goes far beyond celebrity beef. It challenges the carefully curated image of Black excellence the Carters represent. Sources even allege Beyoncé's role went past attendance, claiming she helped shape the private circles now under scrutiny. That would turn the story from Diddy's downfall into a broader reckoning. Who else was in the room when the cameras weren't rolling, and why no one spoke up? Here's where it really tightens. Critics say this isn't petty drama. It could crack alliances that have been protected for decades. Rihanna has long been linked by whispers to Jay-Z, and if even part of that history is real, her call-out feels less random and more deliberate. With Sean Combs already behind bars and Jay-Z under scrutiny, the timing reads like a strategic strike, not a spur-of-the-moment jab. What makes it heavier are the patterns. The Netflix doc hinted at a wider culture of silence, echoed by voices like Aubrey O'Day, who said she was pushed out after refusing advances, and Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who alleges exploitative pressure. If Rihanna's hints are accurate and Beyoncé was part of that world, the question becomes chilling. How many powerful names were protected, and who paid the price to keep quiet? How many others were complicit, by participating or by looking the other way? And what does that say about an industry where the most powerful figures built empires on silence? That question circles right back to Jay-Z. The 2000 lawsuit accusing him and Sean Combs of involvement in a disturbing post-VMA incident wasn't just noise. It shook the industry. Jay's team dismissed it outright, but the timing of Rihanna's comments makes the silence louder. If Beyoncé was ever entangled in Diddy's world, their restraint starts to look less like loyalty and more like self-preservation. Because the fallout wouldn't be just personal, it would be legal, financial, and existential. Add the media layer. The Netflix doc already drew fire as a hit piece, but Rihanna didn't just question its credibility. She redirected the spotlight squarely onto Beyoncé. And if even a fraction of those hints hold weight, this isn't about rivalry or bad blood. It's about a collaboration so explosive it could rewrite the power map of hip-hop. It could unravel the carefully stitched narratives of two music dynasties. The real question isn't just what Beyoncé did, it's what she knew, when she knew it, and why she stayed silent. The documentary already painted Diddy as obsessed with control, from Cassie's testimony to former assistants describing extreme intimidation. If Beyoncé was present in that world, as Rihanna hints, was she a victim, a participant, or somewhere in between? And what does that say about the men around her, especially Jay-Z, who built empires while women stayed quiet? This isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about a wider network that may have looked away for decades. With Diddy convicted, dozens of lawsuits pending, and his empire collapsing, the stakes are massive. And if Rihanna's claims gain traction, the fallout could spread fast. Because if Beyoncé is implicated, Jay-Z's own legal exposure comes back into focus. With Diddy already down, the question becomes simple and dangerous. Who else goes with him? As the dust settles on Rihanna's explosive call-out, one thing is clear. If Beyoncé's alleged role in Diddy's world is real, the music industry's glittering facade could finally crack. But will the full truth ever surface, or will powerful forces bury it for good? The pieces are on the table. The players are in position. And the whole world is watching. So now it's your turn. Do you think Beyoncé's silence speaks volumes? Or is this just another chapter in hip-hop's endless game of power and perception? Drop your theories in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Because in this story, the next bombshell is always right around the corner. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, in the world of fame and power, the truth is the one thing money can't buy.